How narcissists feel when you disappear on them. Narcissists are complex, manipulative individuals who thrive on control, attention, and admiration. They have a way of making you feel like you're at the center of their world, only to leave you feeling used, confused, and emotionally drained. But what happens when you decide to disappear, to cut ties and remove yourself from their life entirely? This is where things get really interesting. When you go, no contact, with a narcissist, they experience a flood of emotions. And these emotions are unlike anything they've felt before. You may think that disappearing from their radar is just a small step, but for a narcissist, it's a huge blow to their ego. So, how do narcissists truly feel when you disappear on them? It's not as simple as hurt or anger, it's far deeper than that. If you're curious about the internal world of a narcissist and what happens when they lose control of someone they once manipulated, then you've come to the right place. Stay with me, because as we dive into this subject, you'll discover the profound impact your disappearance can have on a narcissist, and why it's often the best decision for your emotional and spiritual well-being. Before we jump into the details, I want to encourage you to stay engaged throughout this video. What we're about to discuss may resonate with you in ways you didn't expect, especially if you've ever had to deal with a narcissist in your life. Trust me, you won't want to miss any part of this discussion. So be sure to stick around until the end. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. By doing so, you help spread awareness and wisdom to others who might be dealing with similar situations. Now, let's talk about what goes on in the mind of a narcissist when you suddenly disappear. One of the first things a narcissist feels when they realize you've cut them off is shock. Narcissists operate under the belief that they have control over you and that you need them more than they need you. They rely on you for a steady supply of attention, validation, and emotional energy. So, when you disappear without warning, it shatters their carefully constructed world. This shock is not just an emotional reaction, it's an assault on their sense of superiority. How could someone like you, someone they believed they had total control over, suddenly walk away? It doesn't compute in their mind, and this is the first sign of their unraveling. As the shock begins to wear off, narcissists will often try to rationalize your disappearance. They'll convince themselves that it's just a phase, that you'll come back because, after all, who could possibly live without them? This is where their inflated ego comes into play. Narcissists genuinely believe that they are irreplaceable and that no one could ever truly walk away from them for good. In their minds, they've provided you with something that no one else can, a sense of importance, validation, or even excitement. But here's the truth. What they've given you is nothing more than manipulation dressed up as affection. And deep down, once they realize that you're truly gone, that realization starts to sink in, and it terrifies them. What makes your disappearance so powerful is that it cuts off the narcissist's supply. Without you, they lose the person who fed their ego, who gave them the emotional energy they crave. They might try to fill the void with someone else, but it's not the same. You were special to them, not in a way that's healthy or loving, but because you represented a source of control and power. When you remove that, the narcissist is left scrambling to figure out what went wrong, and this is when they start to feel an emotion that they rarely experience: vulnerability. Yes, even narcissists feel vulnerable when they lose their grip on someone they thought they owned. You might think that narcissists don't feel pain, but that's not entirely true. When you disappear on them, they feel a unique kind of pain, the pain of losing control. It's not about losing you as a person, it's about losing the control they had over you. This loss is devastating to a narcissist because their entire sense of self-worth is built on how much power they can exert over others. Without you, they feel powerless, and this is a feeling they cannot tolerate. It's in this moment of vulnerability that they start to panic, but instead of showing it outwardly, they'll often go to great lengths to maintain their facade of strength and superiority. One of the most common reactions a narcissist has when you disappear is to try to regain control. They might reach out to you, sending messages or trying to reconnect under the guise of concern or love. Don't be fooled. This is just another tactic to get you back under their influence. They'll use guilt, flattery, or even anger to pull you back in, but remember, this isn't about genuine feelings. It's about control. They can't stand the idea of you walking away on your terms, so they'll do everything in their power to reverse the situation. At this point, it's important for you to remain strong. The narcissist will likely become more desperate as they realize their tactics aren't working. This desperation might manifest as increased manipulation, but it could also turn into anger. Narcissists hate losing, and when they lose control over someone, it can trigger a deep sense of rage. This anger is not because they love you or care about you, it's because they hate losing. They might lash out, insult you, or try to ruin your reputation. This is their way of coping with the loss of power. But as difficult as it may be to deal with their reaction, it's important to remember that your decision to disappear is a form of self-preservation. You are protecting yourself from their toxic influence, and no matter how much they try to convince you otherwise, you've made the right choice. When a narcissist realizes they can no longer manipulate you, they're forced to confront the truth about themselves, a truth they've been running from for a long time. Your disappearance shines a light on their insecurities, their need for control, and their inability to form genuine, healthy relationships. As time goes on, the narcissist will likely go through several emotional stages. First, they'll feel shock, then denial, followed by anger and desperation. But eventually, they'll reach a point of acceptance. This doesn't mean they'll ever fully understand why you left, but they'll come to terms with the fact that they can no longer control you. And while this might bring them temporary relief, it doesn't mean they've changed. Narcissists rarely change, and even if they do, it's a long, difficult process that requires genuine self-reflection, something most narcissists avoid at all costs. You might wonder if the narcissist ever feels regret or remorse for how they treated you. The answer is complicated. Narcissists don't experience regret in the way most people do. They might regret losing control over you, but they rarely feel remorse for the pain they caused. In their minds, the problem is never with them. It's always with someone else. So, while they might feel a sense of loss, it's not because they miss you as a person. They miss the control, the power, and the validation you provided. Disappearing from a narcissist's life is one of the most powerful things you can do, not just for your own well-being but as a way of showing them that their manipulation and control no longer have a hold on you. It's a statement that you value yourself enough to walk away from a toxic situation, and that's something they can never take away from you. In the end, your decision to disappear is an act of self-love, and it's a message to the narcissist that their time in your life has come to an end. As we come to the end of this discussion, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen and reflect on this important topic. If this message resonated with you, or if you know someone who could benefit from hearing it, please take a moment to like, comment, and share this video. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Together, we can continue to spread awareness and support each other on our journeys toward healing and spiritual growth. May God bless you, and may you find peace in knowing that you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness.